My name is Marcus Toole, and I would like to talk to you a little bit about what happened in Orlando, and not so much about what happened in Orlando, but the aftermath of it and the way people are reacting to what happened in Orlando. First thing I want to say about it is, or I want to say about myself is, I am a gay person and I am an evangelical Christian, and some of y'all may not understand how that can be, but it is what it is, and maybe that's a topic for another conversation. So when I look at this issue, I look at it really through two lenses. One lens is as a Christian and part of a Christian tradition, and the other lens as a gay person who has had this aspect dealt out to me without my choice or without my wanting it. It simply is what it is. And looking at how people react to this, let's talk a little bit about the event itself, or rather the causes of it. There are people in our country who want to say that this is just about Islamic terrorism. Well, for sure, Islamic terrorism is an element of it. This guy who committed this atrocity, this mass murder against gay people in a nightclub, claimed that he was killing in the name of Allah from a clearly Islamic perspective. He apparently had dealings with various terrorist organizations, although apparently, from what I gather from researching this, it doesn't look like any of those organizations had helped plan this in any way. So let's just say it. Extremist Islamic terrorism is part of the picture. There are other people who want to say that this is just about guns. That if these weapons, particularly these automatic rifles, assault rifles, if they weren't in the hands of the public, maybe this wouldn't have happened. And I tend to agree that guns are part of the picture. After 9/11, yeah, I mean, the whole world thought that that was an act of terrorism. But also the whole world thought that we should ramp up security on airplanes, and that while airplanes did not cause the terrorist attack, they were part of it, and we made it harder for terrorists to get on airplanes with weapons. We can chew gum and walk too. We know how to do this. So it's not just about guns, but guns are part of the picture. Then there's the other equation, is the fact that this guy is or was apparently gay. Now there are two things that have been revealed about this. One, he was apparently gay and had grown up in an environment that was very anti-gay, and there is nothing new about gay people who don't accept their own sexuality lashing out at violence at other gay people. It is almost the rule rather than the exception when it comes to gay bashing by homophobic people. Often those homophobic people who resort to such violence are struggling with same-sex attraction and who knows why it ends up in lashing out in violence, but it does. And there is the added twist to it that's being presented by a person claiming to be this guy's ex-lover, that it was revenge, that a number of gay people in this nightclub had mistreated this guy and had used and abused him, and there's nothing new about that in the gay community. That could well have happened. And then of course you got the whole part of it where the guy apparently was psychologically unhinged on top of everything else. Lots of things went into this. There are lots of things that can be blamed, and none of them can take all the blame. But what we can do as people is, instead of pointing at one thing and then accusing everybody else of the other things, is that we can actually start listening to one another and realizing that this situation with this man in that nightclub was very complicated. You can't point to guns and say that's the whole problem. You can't point to Islamic terrorism and say that that's the whole problem. You can't point to the fact that gay people sometimes mistreat and abuse gay people as the whole problem. You can't point to that either. Nor can you point to just the self-hating homophobia as to all of these things are factors. All of these things are issues that we as human beings, whether gay or Christian, whether straight, regardless of your religion, whether Muslim, whatever, these are all things we can work out. These are things that we should talk to one another instead of yelling accusations at one another. Because as long as we yell accusations, this kind of thing is going to happen over and over and over again, because we are creating the atmosphere where people become radicalized. And I'm not just talking about radicalized Muslims. I'm also talking about radicalized homophobes, radicalized white people who hate gay people, radicalized politicians who want to do crazy things. It's time to ratchet down this stuff and to actually deal with each other as human beings and realize that the problems we deal with life are way more complicated and nuanced than simply saying he's a radical Muslim, or he's gay, or he had this gun. Well, it was all these things. And all these things played a part. And if we don't realize that, then we're missing the picture. And we all can be part of the solution, because quite frankly, we are all part of the problem. Thanks and God bless.